voted in tier 2 towns, it is around 60%, but the tier 1 or the metropolis like Mumbai, the voter turnout is around 55%. The younger population are getting more educated and they are also trying to enroll themselves. If we analyze within the city, the slum population or the middle class population turnout is more, but the affluent area, unfortunately, turnout is less. Transparency, visibility and accessibility. Definitely anything and everything is possible in this career.
We have with us a very important person from Maharashtra's administration. With several accolades and achievements to his name, he has worked tirelessly for the state over decades. He was the additional municipal commissioner of Greater Mumbai when COVID hit and was instrumental in building the infrastructure to fight the pandemic in the city. He has held many vital posts in the prestigious Indian Administrative Service or IAS, and currently he is the Secretary of the State Election Commission of Maharashtra. Very pleased to have with us on Buzz by the Bay, Mr. Suresh Kakani. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for joining us. We have Lok Sabha elections coming up. I understand that being, the Secretary of the State Election Commission, you probably don't have to be directly involved with Lok Sabha elections. But what kind of support are you giving them, the Election Commission of India?
Yeah, very true that we are not directly connected with either with the Lok Sabha or the Vidhan Sabha elections. But yes, though we are concerned on the concerned with the urban local bodies and rural local bodies elections, but the common factor, common denominator you can say, is the voter list and voter turnout. So there we are trying to play some role, though not directly but indirectly to some role to facilitate the new younger population to enroll themselves in the voter list, number one, and number two, to go for the vote on the polling day. So these two things we are indirectly supporting, you can say.
Okay, indirectly supporting. So in terms of facilitating easier registration, encouraging people to vote?
Yes.
Like, because voter turnout in Maharashtra is notoriously low. Right, it's amongst the lowest, and especially in urban centers. For example, in 2019 Lok Sabha, there were many urban centers which recorded less than 50% turnout, which is quite dismal. So why this low turnout?
Yeah, so if you ask me about the figures, definitely, as you are saying, the rural population, the voter turnout is around 80%. Take a case of any of the Gram Panchayat or village Panchayat election, the voter turnout is never less than 80%. If you move up to the tier 3 towns, there also voter turnout is around 70%. Voter in tier 2 towns, it is around 60%, but the tier 1 or the metropolis like Mumbai, the voter turnout is around 55%. So there is a scope for improvement. Of course, if we analyze within the city, the slum population or the middle class population turnout is more, but the affluent area, unfortunately, turnout is less. So there is a greater need to encourage people so that they should come out. They should, on the polling day, they should come out. They should cast their vote, and in turn, they can expect the better government, better representatives who is really answerable to the common man.
Okay.
Today we may not be suffering, but tomorrow we may be in that list.
Yeah, so what kind of activities is the State Election Commission involved in to sort of encourage people to vote?
So we have prepared some, you can say, the social media content, a small video to how to enroll your vote, how to locate your polling booth, how to locate whether you are really enrolled in the voting list or not.
So social media is important because that targets the young, right? But a lot of young people have been complaining, first-time voters, and I've seen that, press articles on that registering on the government website is not easy. It keeps hanging, or it's just a very tedious process.
Yeah, so therefore, we are also roping in the colleges where the 18 plus population enroll themselves for the higher studies or for the graduation studies. There, with the help of the college administration, we extend this facility so that there should not be any problem for the new entrants to enroll themselves in the voter list. Yeah. So that facility we are providing, or otherwise, if someone is getting some difficulties in using the website Then the physical copy, delivery of the physical copy is also possible. We have opened centers at the collector's office or at the various Tahsil office. They can go and submit their documents along with the prescribed form for enrolling themselves as a voter, and that process is going on. So still they can submit the physical copy.
So that process is going on currently.
Yes.
Of course, like you said, you are mainly, responsible for local body elections. But of course, this is a big election, and everyone's efforts have to be pooled together to make sure that voter turnout, does increase. Because especially where we are sitting, these constituencies, Mumbai South and all are dismal. The turnout is really bad because I think people think of it as a holiday. They either relax or they go out of town. Do you agree with more strict measures being put into place to make sure people vote?
Instead of, putting in some legal measures, the urge should come from within.
Okay.
Because we are choosing our representative. The representative is representing take a case of Vidhan Sabha. 3 lakh voter, 3 lakh population is the basic criteria for a constituency. If 3 lakh voter, if 50% are not turning up, and tomorrow if they are complaining, so there won't be, it won't be proper for them to complain about that. So they should go and they should cast their vote. That is the only message I would like to give.
Okay, let's hope this time changes. So talking about your specific responsibility, local body elections to Gram Panchayat, also BMC, municipal corporation elections across Maharashtra also come under your state election commission. But those elections have been delayed. I mean, BMC elections were supposed to happen in 2023 and even local body elections have been delayed. When can we expect them?
Yeah, because most of the urban local bodies are due for elections, but because some litigation is going on in the Honorable Supreme Court, so I won't be able to comment on that. But as and when it got resolved, we are in readiness to conduct election in the minimum possible time.
Okay, so because, how can we not have a BMC? Like, how can we not have BMC elections? That is a very important thing, and they've been suspended for a while now. It's like we'll be coming up to a year. It should have happened about a year ago, and then doesn't that create problems with administration?
No, because of course in the democracy the representative should be there, because there should be some platform to voice their needs, their difficulties, their complaints, and their requirements, all these things.
So you think we can see local body elections in Maharashtra this year itself, end of this year?
Yes, we are hoping the end of this year something will come out. That is what we are hoping.
And the nature of the case in the court, it's regarding the number of seats?
It is, multiple issues are there. Earlier it was related to some reservations, then number of seats, and then process to be followed. Multiple issues are there, and hopefully it will get resolved in near future.
Another issue with regard to elections, again all elections, these are local body, BMC, state and Lok Sabha, is the EVM. This is coming up a lot again and again. It came up after the state elections we had in Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and other states, where the opposition, the losing party always says that there's tampering with the EVM. So, what is your view on it? How do you really make these EVMs sort of tamper-proof? And just your experience with EVMs,
Yeah, EVM, because I recollect the Election Commission of India has invited the political parties and other stakeholders to have a look at the EVM to demonstrate whether it is manageable or you can say the amenable, but it is not the case. No one could find any fault in the EVM, working of the EVM. So far as the achieve the transparency in that, the Government of India or the Election Commission of India has introduced the VVPAT,
okay,
the voters trail, and that is also working fine. So even then, suppose someone is claiming that yes, he can manage EVM, he can modify the results, so the field is open for him and to go and demonstrate. But while saying so, there is no point in saying that someone has managed EVM and therefore the results are in their favor. So it is not the case. This is a standalone unit, you can say. It is not connected with any Wi-Fi or anything.
Right.
And if someone is required to manage that, then he is to manage the hundreds of people in the process, because all the EVMs have get randomized in presence of the political party's representative, in presence of the observer, then first level check, second level check, and then there are series of procedure to be followed in presence of the thousands of people. So at times it is really, really difficult.
Okay, have you received, I know you've just joined the State Election Commission, but have you received any sort of, complaints about EVMs and things like
Not
that?
a single.
Not a single
Not
one.
a single.
Coming to your area, local body elections, how do you ensure transparency? How do you ensure a free and fair election?
Yeah, because model code of conduct, because guidelines we issue are available in the public domain. So there are three different things to be done. Place the model code of conduct in the public parlance, number one. Then appoint the regulatory authorities at the various places, like movement of cash. If movement of cash is there, checkposts are there, they can intervene, they can check. And number three, the use of software. Now, the government of India and the Election Commission of India has decided to use a software. Suppose money is to be transferred from one bank to another bank, or the smaller bank to the bigger bank, then they should use that software, upload the information, and that money trail would be monitored.
Okay.
And the other things, suppose in some of the constituency we get a complaint that something is getting distributed. So to keep watch on that, the video recording, we conduct video recording whenever a political party visit a particular area.
Okay, so there's surveillance when parties are campaigning in a village, because it's normal, right? We know that people distribute, whether it's saris or whether it's grains or whether it's money for votes. I mean, we know that these things have been happening and have to, I mean, it must be hard to crack down, right?
Yeah, so I mean surveillance, that is the only option available, surveillance. So
Okay.
I mean, and to educate the people that if someone is coming with you and asking you for a favor by giving something, then he should come and he should report on by using his social media, or he can record and send it across.
Do you have a feeling that in this Lok Sabha election, maybe voter turnout will be higher? What is the sense you're getting?
Yeah, but because the way we are going, the way we are educating people, I believe that the turnout would be more this year.
Can you give a ballpark figure as to?
Yeah, as compared to last year, because whenever we compare the voter, it is not the turnout is not going up. If we compare 2017 with 2020, 22, then or 2012 with 2017, the turnout is increasing. So the awareness is going up. The younger population are getting more educated, and they are also trying to enroll themselves. We are also facilitating their easy enrollment, and the turnout is also increasing. 2012 it was 50%, 2020, 2017 it was 55%. That is a very encouraging trend, and we are expecting the same trend this Lok Sabha elections as well.
This Lok Sabha elections.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hope for that. You've had many roles in the IAS, and you were inducted into the IAS in 2003. Most recently, what you're very well known for as well is your role as additional municipal commissioner of Greater Mumbai, right? During the heat of COVID, 2019 to 2022. I mean, you really saw the worst of it, and you are credited with effectively tackling the pandemic, creating state-of-the-art infrastructure and things like that. And you have said before that you had to think very creatively. So if you can, what are the major lessons you learned?
Yeah, every disaster, because be it a flooding or the earthquake or any of the disaster, natural disaster or the man-made disaster or the pandemic situation like COVID, that gives you an opportunity to think internally and to express externally. So think internally, yes, because this pandemic gave us very good lessons that we should strengthen our primary health care. We should focus more on the research, so that instead of depending on any other organization or any other country for that matter, we should be able to devise our treatment protocol.
Okay, so that was your suggestion, focus more on research and on primary health care, right? So that our preparedness is there, because when this pandemic hit, obviously nobody was prepared, not even the most developed country was prepared. Yeah. But you managed to set up this infrastructure, the jumbo centers, and all sorts of things, helplines, and obviously it led to some good results, right? Of course, one can't avoid a lot of deaths and a lot of tragedy in a pandemic, but people were talking about the Mumbai model and the BMC model as being successful. And you also wrote a book called Mumbai Fights Back, which chronicles the BMC's journey. Which wave was the worst for you?
I believe the first wave was the worst because the treatment, the behavior of the virus, no one was aware, its longevity, its multiplicity. But that was a learning phase for us, and for the second wave, we could prepare better because we had our ears to the ground. So I was also moving in the field, interacting with people, what type of patient they are getting, what difficulties they are facing. So on that basis, we could devise our policies, we could modify our policies. And that was therefore the first wave. Though it was, the fatality was more, but overall it gives us tremendous satisfaction and the courage to take on the second wave and the third wave.
Yeah.
So our death toll during first wave was more, but during second and third wave, and overall death toll is below average of the national average or the international average.
What really inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, because usually in normal time, the patient walk down to the hospital or the doctor. Here we change that paradigm. Instead of patient approaching doctor, we used to approach patient. And it has become possible because, as I said, we had multiple field visits, and there we could understand the patients are suffering for getting beds. They are not getting ambulance. So the first dictate we issued to the testing laboratories that they should share their positive reports with us, with the BMC first.
Okay.
So that instead of the patient looking for this thing,
right.
after getting that report, we approach the patient and that yes, you are positive. In what hospital you would like to go in, whether the private hospital or the public hospital. Nowhere in the world, I believe, it is a patient-centric approach followed.
Right.
Patient used to contact doctor, and the doctor would sending the ambulance for taking him to the hospital. That is different part. But here, we used to approach the patient. We used to assess his situation, condition, on the basis of the oxygen, on the basis of the oxygen level, or on the basis of the temperature. So this is the paradigm shift. So I thought, it is necessary for the future generations to record all these things, to document these things, so that in case of repeat pandemic, or in case of any disaster, what actions have we undertaken, those they can use or they can modify on those lines, and they can come out with the better results and the minimum possible time.
So you said paradigm shift, and the main difference being that nowhere in the world have they employed this patient-centric approach.
Yeah.
Right? So me and my family also got COVID in the first wave when there was no vaccine, there was no, so we also had that experience because we needed ambulances, and hospitalization and things, and oxygen and things like that. It was very different from what happened in the, in the later wave. So we did see firsthand that, we were helped by a local commissioner and things like that. So definitely that patient-centric approach had its benefits, and like you said, it tested your creativity. You've had so many roles within the IAS. So do you feel like, let's say COVID tests your creativity, you can sort of bring that same creativity to other roles you play, like maybe bringing that creativity or that learning to the election commission?
Of course, yes. Therefore, we are getting ready. Though this is a lean period for us, but we are getting ready with everything. We are, discussing. Today also I discussed with my team as a monthly meeting that what action should we initiate so that at the 11th hour, there should not be any rush of any sort. So we are getting ready. That creativity we are thinking, we are anticipating some problems, and we are getting ready for that.
How it's tested your creativity is that, and what you've learned is preparedness.
Yeah.
Right? So to be prepared and to have your infrastructure in place. Can you narrate any personal incident that had a great impact on you? While talking to patients?
There are multiple incidences. I would say that because, as I said, the people were struggling to get beds. So I used to get calls late in the night, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Then that helped us I never missed a call. Even if I miss a call, I used to call back that person. So one fine morning, the oxygen supply got less and 4 of hospitals got completely dry, and 168 patients were on oxygen. And that news came to me in the evening around 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Then we started moving in, trying to find out, we could locate the oxygen surplus hospitals, and we prepared a plan that yes, from this hospital, the patient will go to that hospital. For that, ambulances, large number of ambulances we requisitioned, and in a 4 hour span, right from our operation started in the 12 in the night, and by 4 o'clock, entire 168 patients from the oxygen deficit hospitals we could shift to the oxygen surplus hospital, and without a single fatality. That really impacted two things, that yes, if team decides, anything and everything is possible, number one, and if there is a will, we can save a patient, and then God will definitely support us in that case. Otherwise, we could have easily said that oxygen is not there and then the patients are dying. Not only Mumbai, but I mean, one of my friend was telling me a poor wife's husband is suffering in Dombivli, though Dombivli is not a part of municipal corporation. So I mean, casually checked with that husband, but he was again experiencing very low oxygen level. So I could send an ambulance from Mulund, because Mulund and Dombivli is too closer by. Got that person admitted in the Mulund Jumbo Center. He was there for 28 days, and after 28 days he got fully recovered, and now he is leading good life. That lady met me incidentally somewhere, since I used to move in the field, and then she was in tears that, I mean, because of you, my husband got saved. So this is the biggest compliment,
Yes.
or biggest satisfaction one can expect in the public life.
No, you did a lot and you pulled off a lot of feats. Amazing. God forbid there's another pandemic. Are we better prepared?
Yes, we are better prepared now. The systems are in place. But yes, I mean, someone should be there to lead from the front. Someone should be there to risk his life, because I mean, that time it was advised to all of us that you should not move in the field. Otherwise, if you get infected, and then there would be no one to take care of the city. But I mean, if we confined ourselves in the office or at home, the things at the ground you may not realize. So I started taking risks, and I moved in the field, interacted with people. Therefore, we could come out with the better policies, better support system.
Yeah, so you actually did risk your health and life. Which again brings me to the point of elections being important, right? Because God forbid there is a disaster, and we can't have a suspended state. We need a properly elected municipal corporation all over Maharashtra. Because I mean, how do you otherwise deal with situations like this? Who will be responsible if something happens now? I went through, of course, your achievements, and it's very interesting that you have had many papers published. You've written this book, but you've had many papers published on conflict resolution and such, which is a completely, well, it's not completely different. I can see, that also has to deal with emergencies and, creative responses, which you've already been involved with. But if you could tell us a little bit, I read that you have a paper on the bomb blast in Mumbai, the train blast that happened in 2006. And the paper's titled, The Bomb Blast in Mumbai, Why Did the Communal Force Not React? So what were your findings briefly? I'm sure it's a very lengthy paper, but briefly, I mean, why didn't the communal forces react?
Because the intention of, that bomb blast was to create animosity among the population, so that internal anarchy or internal law and order situation would be created, and you can perpetrator can encash on that. But fortunately, it didn't happen in Mumbai, though the lifeline of Mumbai, like local trains, were attacked at 12 different locations. By and large, people got realized that this is to mean the divert the economic growth of India, to derail the economic growth of India, not divert, derail the economic growth of India or the economic upbringing. The rising population, middle class population, is also, well aware about all these things. And by and large, they were of the opinion that it has been created by some outside forces, though internal forces has not any role to play. So there is no point in quarreling with them or opening fight with them. So the rising middle class, the economic growth of India, the education, or the role played by the local leaders and the machinery that time, everything played a major role. Faith in the system, that also played a major role in keeping the city on track. didn't allow to disrupt it, didn't allow anyone to disrupt it. So all these things worked in our favor, worked in the favor of the city, and city got back on the track in 24 hours. If
Yeah,
I'm
were you
not wrong.
part of the administration at that time?
That time, yes, I was part of the administration. I was looking after the disaster management, or you can say relief and rehabilitation.
Okay.
That portfolio was with me.
But do you think that the population is maturing?
Of course, yes.
And they're voting, let's say even with elections coming up, that they'll vote more on like economic grounds, or grounds of policy rather than like emotive issues like religion.
Yeah.
You feel that?
Yeah, because I feel that, because I mean, religion is your part of life, if it is a way of your life. But you have to earn bread and butter for survival. So if the bread and butter is not being offered after putting in 24 hours or 8 hours of job in the job, then the religion won't play any role.
Okay.
Yeah, so therefore the people, by and large, people are aware that yes, I mean, economic development is much having the larger impact on their lives than the religion, and therefore the turnout is increasing year on year. That is what, and this year also we are anticipating better turnout as compared to the last elections.
Okay. On that, lastly, may I ask you for 3 mantras for success for an IAS officer?
3 mantras, I mean, your ear should be on the ground. It should be, you should be always connected with the field. What is your job, what you wish to deliver, and what you are required to deliver, and what are your wishes, that should be there. I would rather sum up, you should be transparent, number 1. You should be visible, number 1. Number 2, and you should be accessible, number 3. These 3 principles, transparency, visibility, and accessibility. Definitely anything and everything is possible in this career.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kakani, for your time. And these are lovely mantras that you gave: transparency, accessibility, visibility, keeping your ears on the ground. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.